folks, welcome to another episode of Michael in the Backyard, otherwise known as MITB. Nah, it's just Michael in the Backyard. Well, we've got a little project to do today, a little grinding, welding, fabrication. I've got to build this box. This box has four little legs sticking up there in the bottom, you see, which are going to be some rubber mounted feet, so to speak, making an isolation box. These are going to be some heavy duty isolation mounts that are going to be mounted between this and a plate inside the box. It's also going to have some rubber feet on the bottom of the box. And this is the frame. I've already got it miter cut and I've already ground away a V into it because I have to grind these surfaces back flat again after I'm done. Reason being is there's going to be a piece of tubing coming up from one side. On the other side, there's going to be feet and or lid, steel lid that's going to be a plate top for it. So this is some of the stuff I do, a little bit of jobs here on the side here and there, and I just thought I'd bring you guys along for the ride. Update, this just in. The Guardian, you remember this one? I bought this one because this one died on me. Well, I thought it would be worth sharing what I did to repair it, which is very minimal, I'm ashamed to say. So what happened here is there's a nut right there. And that nut's a left-hand nut. It had backed off due to drilling and vibration over time. And it's a taper. It's not a key in here, under here at all. It's just actually a taper. And this pulley fits on that taper. And once you got it seated and you put the nut on it, the taper drives it, right? Well, that's what happened is it came loose. Now, the other modification, if you will, that I have done, I've always disliked this. This sat down right in here and acted like there's another pulley. So you go from here to here and from there to there. And to give you your 16 speeds, as it were. Well, let's just say I never really used all 16 speeds. So what I did is this pulley back here wasn't drilled all the way through. It had a stop, so it would only go down so far on the shaft, lock in place, So I ran a 5/8" drill through there, which is the shaft diameter, to bring it so I could actually flip this pulley upside down. It has a set screw that locks it onto a flat on the shaft, and now what you see is it's just basically going to be a 4-speed. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did my measurements from center to center and the diameters of the pulleys and came up with a belt size that I needed, and I ordered it. And now we can drill. We can drill again. So that's an update on that. So that's going to come in handy, especially now that I got these two tables. I could bring them up to the same height, and then I could even, with this one here, I can even bring this out even further. I can bring this one out even further for more support if I need it. But these being the same height, that's pretty cool. Well, obviously they can both go up and down. So there again, the Guardian, the 1997 Guardian, lives to fight another day. And it's going to be nice because I can actually have a drill bit in here drilling stuff, and I can have a deburring and like a chamfer tool in this one and do chamfer stuff, breaking corners instead of chucking an excessive amount of times. So because once I get these things welded, I've got to drill some holes in it for the mounts that are going on the bottom of the floor, and that's pretty much it for that. So here I've got these legs right here. I've already got these made up. These are actually 2x2 solid stock with a 1/2-13 hole drilled and tapped into it to hold those rubber mounts. I still got to cut 2 more pieces of tube here that are here to length to fit inside this square. That'll be supported by my welds as well. And then there's a plate that sits on top of these 4 pads, and that's going to be an isolation area. Now this is going to have sides all the way around and on the top, and then it's going to have egg crate foam on the inside. What we got is this big vibration tumbler, polisher tumbler, deburr type thing, it's pretty loud. So what we're trying to do is put it inside a case or a cabinet, if you will, and see if we can just kill that sound down to nothing with that egg crate foam inside and it being isolated and stuff. It should be, I'm hoping, a pretty good unit. We'll find out. If this works out, I'll actually have to build 2 more. So this is our, what I'm going to call a pilot test one. And then if that works, we'll be building some more. Other things I may do in this video, don't know yet, is I've got more miter cuts made because I made this shelf right here, as you guys saw in a previous video. I liked it so much, I bought the company. Nope, I am the company. I decided to make another one that I'm going to put back, like I talked in the previous video, back over here in this corner. So I can have more storage shelf spaces that is in a climate controlled environment like the rest of this. Now, I'll be honest with you. I just stuck these in here to get them out of my way for now. This is RV and Marine antifreeze. Probably doesn't need to be in a climate controlled environment because it's antifreeze. So that's going to go on a shelf outside. No reason to keep that inside. Taking up space. I ended up with 5 gallons extra, more than I thought I was going to end up with when I winterized all the engines I took out to the shed. All right, let's get busy welding and fabricating and seeing if we can get some progress made today. right, we've made some serious headway here. As you can see, we've got all the welds. We've got the posts in place here. Now these posts are the ones that are going to have these threaded onto them and seated tight. We've got 4 of those guys. I've got never sees in the holes just so eventually, years from now, when we decide to replace these rubber isolation pads, we can do that. I'm not tightening them all the way down now because this is still warm. We also have these feet that are adjustable. These kind of float, and then you can set it, like on this bench isn't perfectly flat, but you can adjust it so it doesn't rock. On top of here is going to go back that plate that we had on there earlier, and then we get to put the 4 uprights in place, which are on this picture here. Now you're starting to see it's starting to kind of have that look to it. But I got that top piece matches this bottom piece, so I can have a perfectly, cubed box, as it were. Then we've got some more steel plate over here that's going to be like a front and a back and the sides and a lid. And the lid's rather large, but when this box is only closed, we're going to have a steel lid that comes down, which makes a nice working surface when that lid comes down on it. And I'm going to get some gas-charged struts like these, like I've got back here on my belt sander. One of these guys. I don't know if you can see that. That's what puts tension on my belt sander. Those work pretty good. I'm going to have one of those so it lifts the lid and helps assist people opening the lid to open it. And also help assist lowering it too, so you don't smash any fingers. Plus we're going to have a handle on there or something. But I'm so happy with how it's turning out. I took extra time to make sure things were square. And can you be mad at that weld? No. Can you be mad at that one? Okay, not as happy as with that one as I am this one. But these welds will hold, and it will hold strong. Now this one here, the reason I ground these off smooth is because there will be a piece of tube setting right here. Like this. And once I weld that tube in place, believe you me, it's going to tie these two together really well. So, and I did V these out a little bit before I welded them. So I still got some good penetration into the 1/8" wall tube. But yeah, you kind of get an idea of what it's going to be. So next, I'll be putting these things in place, getting it squared up. I'm going to double check these sheets of aluminum here that I've got for the sides. This piece here. Let's get one of them out here. Now what we're going to do here is we'll be putting these sides on. It's kind of hard to see. On here like this. And then I will bolt them in place, top and bottom. And what I'll do is I'm going to drill these and drill here. And we'll put some nutserts in there to bolt them on. I may not even do nutserts at first. I may just drill and tap these 1/8" wall and put a bolt in it. And then if I need to, I can insert nutserts later. Planning on putting a piece of gasket material between this piece and this piece. It's all depending on how much shaking and how much vibration. Like I said, this is an experimental model. We'll see how it works, and then we'll either redesign or we'll make 2 more. All right, we're gonna jump back in here in a minute as soon as things cools down, because I want to be able to screw these all the way down tight. I want to be able to put this plate back on, tighten it down before I start messing with the uprights. And this thing is quickly gaining some weight. So once this is all together, I'm gonna have to use my cherry picker to load it on my trailer, because it's gonna be pretty darn heavy. But so far so good. We're having a good time. I love coming out here and we're grinding and fabricating, and we got some more fabricating coming up in the future on some even cooler projects, but this is the one I needed to knock out before I can get to the cool. And when I talk about the cool, I'll give you a sneak peek. Can you guys guess what that is and what it's out of. Leave some comments down below. We'll see how close you get. When I get to that project, which is coming up soon enough, I'll clue you in on what it is. And one other thing of note. Now, I've been using this Hercules buy the battery, get the tool for free, but I also, this isn't the battery you buy and get the tool for free, but this is an 8 amp hour battery. And I bought the 8 amp hour battery for the simple fact I have a heat gun that I'll be using, and heat guns will draw some juice. Just like this guy here. And I wanted to have, they make 12 amp hour. I'm tempted. But what I did notice is the 8 amp hour battery on that grinder has just a little, it's noticeable difference between the 5 amp hour and the 8 amp hour. 8 amp hour feels like you're actually plugged into shore power. It kind of gives you that kind of power. It seems to have a little more bite to it. So I'm going to have to invest in a 12 amp hour battery or two because I can see the benefit. All right. Let's jump back in. Alrighty, now that things are cooled down, it's the next night, folks. We're going to go ahead and bring these down to where they're tight. I'm thinking hand tight on these will be fine. They're bottomed out. They ain't going anywhere. You can't put a lot of torque on this because all you're going to do is torque the rubber. So normally these would go through something, have a nut on it like I'm going to have on the top side. But I think it'll be fine as is because I am going to put a nut on top and lock it in place. I'd mark that. Things may have shifted, not much. There we go. Thought it might have shifted a little bit. Kind of trying out the Hercules 1/2 inch impact. Just a little guy, but it's 1/2 inch drive. Got 4 settings. More to come on that in a future video. What you witnessed there was setting 1 for minimal, impact. Now that we've got the plate that the actual vibratory system is going to sit on, I want to we're gonna start installing the legs. The legs I want to get as square as possible. Do all the right things. Looks like I got a little bit of weld splatter here and here, but I can hit that with the sander. Let's knock some of the fuzzies off of this area. So I want to make sure she's smooth and flat, no splatter. That already sounds pretty amazing on there. That's just dead because it's mounted to that rubber. Switch bases so I can clamp you guys to different areas to get you different perspectives with what I'm doing, possibly. With a clamp versus a magnet, I can hook you onto some different stuff. So now the goal here is to put these legs on. Squarely. Are these square enough? I think they should be. I'll tell you what, if you're buying some of these magnetic angle pieces, these Yes Weld brand over the, I don't know where these came from or what brand these are, red ones. You can buy them in sets of, you know, smaller, medium, and large. I've got both. These Yes Weld ones are crazy strong. Now the question is, how square is it holding things? So if I got 30 1/8, 29 7/8 is out about 1/4 of an inch from sitting square. Now this is also depending on how square and flat the bottom is. So that's why I want to do this particular exercise. Put all 4 legs on. Then I'm going to set my top piece on there. And then I can start and tack welding and bring it out, tack weld, bring it out, tack weld, and make sure I'm square this way. Now I didn't cut the ends on these. I ordered this material already cut so I could haul it easier, and sometimes I just haul some of this steel in my car. And my place, the saw cuts are very minimal, so I can have a full stick cut up into 4 pieces for me. Wow, this thing's all out of whack. I can see it already. I'm sprawled out. I can always tilt it in. Do I dare try to set this on top? That'll be the question, huh? Oh, I'm gonna knock stuff over. It's gonna come crashing down on my world, isn't it? I have a lot of these, so will this work for me or against me? Oops. It'll help stabilize it for sure, it looks like. So theoretically, these are holding it theoretically square to how, yeah. I'm gonna check it top to bottom and make sure these are all cut the same length too. I'm having to tap it around with the bottom of my handle because when you try to tap it with this, the magnet sticks to it. Now we're going to do a bunch of tape measuring here. Now for a raw steel assembly with saw cut edges, we're not doing too bad so far. Now, the big question is, do I have it, is it like this or not, you know? Being that these are square with these square pieces, cha. Part of me kind of wants to take this piece of aluminum that's going to be part of the siding that we're bolting on here and get it up here. Just to kind of, I don't know, get a feel good about it, you know? Now you're starting to get an idea what kind of shape it's going to take. Now what I did, now I had this piece sheared, and I've got other pieces over here sheared that's going to fit the rest of the sides, and these are going to bolt onto it. But I measured corner to corner, here to here to here, and they sheared it square, which I kind of expect that from a sheet metal company that shears stuff. The cool part is when I look at along the line here and up here, and then from here to here, it's pretty even. It's not perfectly this way, but it is. I mean, for what I put together, fabricating it, I'm within less than a 1/16. So I'm gonna call that good for a, and what I'll do is I'll transfer, I clamped a couple of pieces of metal here to the bottom so this can sit on it, so it's square with the bottom. Gives me a good reference when I look across the top here to see the same amount all the way up here. Now that I feel like I've got it pretty square, I can throw a couple tack welds and a few others and start locking it together. Then I'll take this piece of sheet metal after I lock this side together, bring it around over here, and then on the back side or front side, You know, it's all the same right now. This is a front or back here. It could go any direction, honestly. This plate is immaterial as to far. It's just the thing that sits here sits in the center. But we're getting close. I'm feeling better about it. This is where I don't get nervous about this stuff. It's just I have to run it through my head because I hate cutting things apart that I welded, because to cut my welds loose is a pretty good weld, so I got to go deeper because I got good penetration in the metal. I got to go deeper than the weld to get it broke loose, and then I got to fill it in again, and then things just get ugly from there. So I think we're in a good situation to start tacking some stuff together. I do feel. All right, it's been about a day since I've been out here doing something, because I took yesterday evening. We had to run some errands, do some other things. I got other projects done, or let's just say moved forward for my hour a day. Well, we left this off right here. We're going to finish putting the back on. The back of this thing will actually be welded on, because it's a piece of steel as well. We're going to weld that in place up around this frame. Then this hinge is going to be like this. And it's a weldable hinge, so I'm going to weld it on here so it's got something good and sturdy. And then I bought some of these guys, some gas charged struts. I went online, found a nice little calculator that allowed me to calculate the weight, because this piece of steel weighs about 72.3 pounds. And there's going to be a handhold here, an oval shaped handhold here, so you can grab it and lift it up. The goal is to have these two gas charged struts fastened here and here, so it can assist the people that will be using this to lift it up. Also, it will help assist closing it without it slamming. The whole goal is to have this handle here so nobody's hands are in the way to get pinched. But, no buts. We're going to take a slight break from this for a second, because I've got this yellow tubing over here. If you watched me on my other channel, I cut some pallet rack beams that were bent up into pieces. I've now miter cut them. I made a shelf out of one and put it on the wall over here. And it's basically a 2 foot by 4 foot shelf. And I put a 3/4 inch piece of plywood wood insert inside where it is recessed. Where the normal pallet rack would have its, let me get under here and show you. Under here they have these, waterfall racking has these beams that lay across to sit in here, and then this wire mesh wraps around here. Well, that carries the weight along with obviously the beam. Well, I've taken advantage of that groove, and I'll put that piece of plywood over here. Yeah, over here. Piece of plywood in there. So I got to get my bench cleared off, because I've got more steel here. This is some 4 pieces of 6 by 1/4 inch for another project that I'll be working on soon, very soon. And I got this piece of 3 inch by, it's 3 by 8. It's 3/16 wall. I'm gonna be building something pretty cool for that, out of that. I think you guys will like it. Just to clue you in, it involves that piece of tubing and something a lot like that. Okay, exactly that. Should be a fun one, but I've got to get a few of these projects done and out of my way. This is all in making some more space in the shop so I can do more projects. So let's get busy. I'm going to go ahead and put this together so I can get it hung up over there, so I can get more stuff cleared up off my floor to open up my space even more. Now, some of you might have been seeing me use this piece of aluminum here as a weld table. Well, it serves 2 purposes. My current weld bench here, or bench that I built for a weld bench, this piece of plate has a little sway to it, and I haven't done anything to make it flat. So when you try to weld stuff together bigger with a sway to it, it doesn't keep things flat. Well, this piece of aluminum is flat enough. So we're going to go ahead and I'll leave a link in the description below for these Yes Weld arrow magnets. This is a 75-pound pull, and it's every bit of that. It depends on the thickness of the steel, because this thing here is seriously, I can actually pick that up a little bit, then it lets go. You don't want it too crazy strong, but these, I bought a set of 3. This one, and this size. These have 25 pound. These are actually pretty substantial. But you can find some of these at like your Harbor Freight, and the ones that look like this at Tyson's or places like that, or other places that have weld stuff. These are not strong. I mean, it barely holds itself to this. Whereas these, I can lift my saw up with it. This one ain't gonna do that. I can almost do it with the one that's the same size, I'll bet. Let's just see, get a good clean surface here. Yeah, see, I can tilt that up. This one here, boop. Get it out here with some clean metal, no tape. Boop. Anyway, well worth it. There'll be a link in the description below. I find these things very handy when you're welding together stuff and you want to hold, like you saw me hold that whole box. That entire box was held together with nothing but these. Yes, I had to use some of these because I don't have enough of these yet. All right, let's put this yellow beast together so we can move back onto this and get on to the very next project. That's why I need to get these off of here. I keep knocking them off. First thing I want to do is knock all this paint off. Looks like everything fit together pretty good. Alrighty, there it is. I can put 3 more totes on that one. On this one over here, I still got room for 1 more tote, so I need 1 more tote. Now, the goal of these totes is not to have them up here full. My goal is to have them up there empty. So when I start taking, say, this piece of equipment here apart, and I need a place to put some of the parts, I got a tote to pull and put them in and stick them back on the shelf, label it, and then when I get back to it, they're all confined to one nice, neat space. Now, we got that project done. We gotta re-catch up our mess here, and we'll be back when I start welding this thing back together. Alrighty, folks, time for the great reveal. There it is. All pretty much cleaned up, ready for me to deliver to the customer. All the holes drilled and tapped. All I got left to do is I want to put a little rubber thing around this guy here. But there it is. In all its glory. Folks, let me know if you enjoy videos like this. There again, I used a generous amount of my Harbor Freight tools that I purchased recently to put this together. I used my impact, I used my drill, I used my bandsaw, and my grinder. And I used them a lot. Had to charge the batteries up more than once. So it was a good exercise of those tools so far. Nothing negative to report. But this is going to be heavy. I got to get this loaded up on my trailer and get it out of here so I can bring in the next little job I got to do before I get back to the working on my own stuff and bringing those videos to you folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below. Let me know if you like this type of video. I can post more in the future. Or do you just like seeing me do stuff in the backyard or in the shop here on my own stuff? I guess, you know, I like doing both. So comment, let me know, and I'll keep producing videos. And remember, 1 hour a day. I've gotten in plenty of hours. And I also want to make a caveat. If you put in 2 hours today, doesn't mean you cannot put in your hour tomorrow. Come on. Hour a day minimum. Now, if you put in 3, 4, 5, it's your own time. It's not overtime. You don't get to bank that. No. Just keep moving your projects forward. All right, this is Michael saying if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. We'll see you on the next video if I'm lucky. Be good to one another. Treat each other kind. And I'm out.